Hi viewers, this is CBSE Grade 10 Federalism in India Political Science Chapter 2. In this topic, this is the fourth session. In the first session, we have seen what is the meaning and features of federalism. The second session, we have compared the constitutional provisions of India and matched the provisions of features of federalism. That is what makes India a federalism. The third session, we have seen what are the three major policies enhanced, I mean strengthen the federalism. In this last session, let us see the decentralization in India. That is empowerment of Panchayati Raj. This is the last session. Okay. What is decentralization? Opposite to centralization. Concentration of powers in one hand is called centralization. Dividing the power is decentralization. What is decentralization in India? Let us see. Federal governments in our country, federal governments, wherever it may be, federal government will have two or more tiers of governments we have seen. That is the first and foremost feature of federalism. But a vast country like India cannot be run through only two tiers. Okay. So the states in India are bigger than, as large as independent countries of Europe. Indian states are as large as the countries of Europe. European countries are equal to the size of our individual state, one state. Okay. So in terms of population, Uttar Pradesh is bigger than Russia. In terms of population, Uttar Pradesh is bigger than Russia. Maharashtra is about as big as Germany. So individual country in Europe is as large as Indian states. Okay. So we have a large country. For that, we need third tier system of government. Previously, we had two tier system of government, villages and municipalities in urban areas, villages and municipalities in urban areas. In the local areas, no panchayat. So, but these were directly under the control of state governments. They did not have any authority of their own. They were under the previously villages and municipalities. They have the third tier system, but they worked under the control of state government. They were not given power of their own. And elections to these local self-governments also were not held regularly. Whenever the ruling party feels in the state legislative assembly that in the opposite party will get through in the panchayat, they will not conduct the elections for the local self-government. They will delay in conducting the local self-government elections. So all the villages and municipalities were working under the control of state governments. Elections were not held regularly and they were not given any powers and resources of their own. So there was little decentralization. For the namesake, there were village and municipalities, but they were working under the control of state government. They were not, elections were not held regularly. They were not given powers and resources. Okay. So a major step towards this decentralization was taken in 1992. In the year 1992, a major steps was taken to empower the third tier system. In this year, the constitution was amended in 1992. The constitution was amended to make a third tier system more powerful and effective. What is third tier system? That is Panchayati Raj. I mean local self-government. Okay. So decentralization in 92, constitution was amended to make third tier system more powerful and effective. According to this constitution amendment, 5 important decisions had been taken to make powerful the Panchayati Raj. Okay. What are the steps had been taken in this amendment? Let us see. First, it was made mandatory, constitutionally mandatory to hold regular elections to the local government bodies. Previously, we have seen that they did not conduct regular elections. So according to this constitution amendment, it was constitutionally mandatory. Mandatory means compulsory. Compulsory to hold regular elections to local government bodies. Second thing, seats are reserved for SC, ST and other backward classes. Always in the rural areas, higher caste people and men will be dominating in contesting the election and administering the panchayat. So now the seats are reserved for SC, ST and backward classes. And third point, 1/3 of the seats are reserved for women. Third point, 1/3 of the seats are reserved for women. So reservation for SC, ST and backward, reservation for women, and State Election Commission, an independent body called State Election Commission has been created because they were not conducting the regular elections, no, for the local self-government. This constitutional amendment, according to this amendment, independent body called State Election Commission has been created to conduct panchayat and municipal elections. Only this election commission will conduct election for panchayat and municipal elections. It has to conduct regularly, was made mandatory. And state governments were required to share some powers and revenue with local government bodies. Previously, we have seen that they were not given, local self-government were not given powers and revenues. So 5 major decisions had been taken according to this constitutional amendment in the 1992 decentralization amendment. According to that, it was made mandatory to hold regular elections to the local self-government. Seats are reserved for SC, ST and backward. Seats are reserved for women. State Election Commission independent body has been created to conduct election for local self-government, and state governments are required to share its powers and revenue with local government bodies. So this constitutional amendment made the third tier system more powerful. Clear? Now let us move on to the what is local self-government? Before we get into the local self-government functions, you have to clearly understand what government, what is local self-government, who is the elected body, what is the assembly of these local self-governments. You have to understand clearly. Very simple. Local self-government is local self. See, in our locality, we ourselves can rule. We ourselves can govern us. It will be more effective. Okay. So this is called local self-government. In our locality, we ourselves can rule, govern the society. Right? Local self-government. In urban areas and rural areas. In urban areas also, we have local self-government. See, in towns, we call it as municipalities. Elected head is chairman. Chairman will be in the municipal office. Towns, if you go for paying the water tax, municipality tax and property tax and all, municipal office you have to go. If you are going to register your get your birth certificate and all, you have to approach municipalities. There you could see the person elected head, chairman. And in cities, big cities like Chennai, Coimbatore, Mumbai, Calcutta, big cities and all, corporations office will be called as corporations, and head of the elected head is mayor. Okay. In village, rural areas, in village, panchayat, the committee is called panchayat. Head, the elected head is president. Okay. Are you all clear with this? So local self-government in urban areas, towns and cities or urbans. Towns la municipalities, chairman will be the head. Cities la corporations and mayor is the elected head. Village, in rural areas, village, panchayat and president. Okay. Now are you all clear with this? Then let us move on to the rural local government. Rural local government is popularly known as Panchayati Raj. We have seen, no, Panchayati Raj. So each village or group of villages, one village or group of villages will have Gram Panchayat. In a Panchayat, not only one village or 4 or 5 villages will be grouped together and it will have Gram Panchayat. It will have consisting of ward members. Their ward members will be elected and head of these ward members is president or sarpanch. Okay. So Gram Panchayat is rural local self-government is called Panchayati Raj. One village or 2-3 villages, 4 or 5 maximum will be having the Gram Panchayat. I mean Gram Panchayat will have a few villages, 4 or 5 villages. It consists of ward members. It elect ward members and president. It is directly elected. President and ward members are directly elected by the adult population of that particular village. So at the village level, people are electing their own representatives to govern themselves. It enhances the democracy. I mean, people's participation, right? So they are directly elected by the adult population of that village. See, my locality should be ruled because I am familiar with this fellow. This fellow cannot go beyond his limit. So because I'm familiar to him. And people also cannot cheat these local self-government rulers because they're all, everybody is familiar to, mutually familiar to each other. Okay. So rural local self-government is Panchayati Raj. 4 or 5 villages constitute Gram Panchayat. Gram Panchayat, several ward members will be elected and president also will be elected directly by the adult population of that village. It is a decision making body for the entire village. What is a decision making body? Gram Panchayat. So all the villages are governed by this Gram Panchayat. Okay. Now let us see. Members of the Jilla Parishad are elected. What is Jilla Parishad? Jilla Parishad is, Jilla means district. Jilla means districts. So most members of the Jilla Parishad are elected. MPs and MLAs of the district and some other officials of other districts are also its members. Jilla Parishad. And Jilla Parishad chairperson is the political head of the Jilla Parishad. Let us see what is Jilla Parishad in detail in the next slide. Okay. Now Panchayat works under the supervision of Gram Sabha. So Panchayat Raj, we have seen local self-government is elected body of ward councillors and ward members and president and ward members. That will have Gram Sabha. On state level, we have legislative assembly and corporations we have. Sorry, in big cities we have corporations, in towns we have municipalities, like that. In village we have Panchayat. That is, an assembly is called as Gram Sabha. All the voters in the village are its members. It has to meet at least twice or thrice in a year, but it is not happening. It has to be done. It has to meet at least twice or thrice in a year, in the sense once in 6 months or once in 4 months, to approve the annual budget of the Gram Panchayat and to review the performance of the Gram Panchayat. It has to review all the members. It is very effective provision of the constitution. Gram Sabha, I mean elected body, which consists of all the voters of that village, all the voters, because they have voted and they have elected these representatives, no, they have the right to discuss. They have the right to approve the annual budget and they have the right to review the performance of this Gram Panchayat. The local self-government structure goes right up to district level. The Gram Panchayats, few Gram Panchayats are grouped together. It is called Panchayat Samiti or block or mandal. Okay, we have seen that villages, 2-3 villages or 4 or 5 villages will form Panchayat. Few Gram Panchayat will form Samiti or block or mandal. Clear? Few villages will constitute Panchayat. Panchayat 3, 4 or 5 villages will be. A few Panchayats will constitute Samiti. All Panchayat Samitis in that district, all Panchayat Samitis in that district is called Jilla Parishad. Clear? So smaller unit is Panchayat. Villages, few villages together is Panchayat. Few Panchayat is grouped together as Samiti. All the Samitis in that district is called Jilla Parishad. Jilla is districts. Previously districts are called in villages. Jilla only they will call. Okay, Jilla means district. Jilla Parishad. Yeah. Now let us move on to local self-government in urban areas. In the previous slides itself we have seen municipalities are set up in towns, big cities, municipal corporations. Both municipalities and municipal corporations are controlled with elected bodies consisting of people's representatives. Municipal chairman is the political head of the municipality. In municipal corporation, mayor is the elected head of the municipal corporation. Now let us see how it is effective, how it made the democracy more effective. Let us see. See, democracy is rule by people. Okay, the system of local government is the largest experiment in democracy anywhere in the world. In India, the new system of local self-government is an experiment, largest experiment conducted anywhere in the world. Only in India, it is very powerful. It is very successful. See, there are now 36 lakh elected representatives in the panchayats and municipalities. It looks so simple, but in India, totally 36 lakh elected representatives. We are considering only the MLAs and MPs are elected representatives. MLAs are only, according to the states, it may be different. MPs are only 543. Rajya Sabha MPs are 250. Total around, or they will be 800 or 900. 800. Okay. MLAs around all the states together plus MPs, around it will be 4,000, not beyond that, not more than that. But see how many elected representatives, MLAs and MPs are less, but elected representatives in the panchayat and municipalities, I mean at local level, are 36 lakh people. 36 are elected ward members, municipal councillors, municipal chairman, president. They are 36 lakh people. So 36 lakh people are empowered to rule the country. They are included in the decision making process of the democracy. So it is pakka democratic country. We empower all the people to rule the country. Okay, all the people are being consulted. Constitutional status for local government has helped to deepen the democracy in our country. See, it has increased the women's representation. These are the positive things. These are all the positive things of the decentralization in India. I mean the third tier system of India. So third tier system, according to the third tier system, 36 lakh people are elected representatives. So all are empowered. So administration is divided into small units which will be effective. The status for local government has helped to deepen the democracy in our country, and it increased women's representation. Now let us move on to the limitations of this. What are the limitations of this? Anything will have limitations. Merits and demerits will be. Advantages and disadvantages will be like that. Decentralization also has its own difficulties. See, what are the difficulties? Let us see. While elections are held regularly and enthusiastically, Gram Sabhas are not held regularly. See, you could see in your village elections, panchayat elections, it will be celebrating like a festival with great enthusiasm, with great eagerness. They will participate, they will conduct, they will contest elections. While elections are held regularly and enthusiastically, Gram Sabhas are not held regularly. What are Gram Sabhas? In the local self-government, ward members and presidents will be elected. Panchayat presidents will be elected. Gram Sabha is group of voters. All voters in that Grama, all voters in that villages constitute Gram Sabhas. Gram Sabha has to, at least it should be, the meeting should be held at least twice or thrice in a year, we have seen. But it is constitutional provision, it is not held regularly. That is a drawback, one thing. And many state governments, even though it is constitutionally required, but many state governments have not transferred significant powers and resources to the local self-governments. That is a second drawback. Even though the constitutional amendments clearly states that state governments are required to transfer powers and resources, it is not done. Okay, first thing, Gram Sabhas are not held regularly. Some state governments are not transferring the powers and resources to the local self-government. So these are the two drawbacks of the decentralization, I mean local self-government in India. We are still a long way. We are still a long way. Still we have to improve. Still we have to improve our democracy from realizing the ideal of self-government. Okay? Still we have to. If these two things are being rectified, we reach the success of third tier system. Okay, thank you. With this, the federalism had got over. Thank you.